And Portea has been continuously breaking the barriers since its inception, and now it's pretty known brand. I mean, if anybody think about taking any services from home, the first name come which is Portea. So that has created that image already. I mean, it's there in people's mind. So I think that's a pretty big success for any brand and a startup.
Yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. Today morning I was talking to somebody and he said, yeah, you are, Portea is a synonym for home care. So it's like,
Yes.
you're
Yes,
like the
yes.
Xerox.
Yes. It's a true thing because see, I am with a lot of people, and the moment this comes, the first recommendation comes is Portea, not from my side, from anybody. Like the Portea is the first preference for people, so it's a synonym of healthcare at home right now. So as you have created this brand recall in people's mind, being a startup, right? So you're the right person to suggest probably. So what is the marketing survival toolkit for any startup during the time of crisis, Vaibhav? What would you like to suggest?
I think during crisis there are 2-3 things which can work, which work. So also one is that look, you completely move towards more ROI based marketing. So if you had your marketing happening in multiple areas, I think you should move that to only ROI based marketing, so that whatever money you are spending, because especially in crisis time you don't know till when it will get over, right? So you have to basically make sure you conserve your resources. So at that time you basically go for completely ROI based marketing. Review it on a regular basis to make sure that you are investing where the need is maximum, where the ROI is coming. I think that's one thing which is very critical. Second, go for a lot of guerrilla marketing kind of model. Look at a lot of social media which you could do. I mean, because then of course your other resources will be free from people perspective. Then you can say how you can brand yourself better using all the free media or social media available to you for that. Third thing which happens during crisis, I think, which you can also do a lot of brand building and bonding with the organization itself. Other thing which happens actually during crisis, your employees also are worried of what is happening, especially if you look at COVID times, right? There are more people who are suffering themselves or their family members are suffering. And again, they are supporting the patients. They are out there working with patients, trying to do something for them in our case, and also have to take care of their own family members, own family, right? How do you make sure that you create the right bonding with them during that time? And you can use this opportunity to create internal branding. You can create, and that of course you will do by really taking care of your people, taking care of your employees. I think that's another thing which has been a big learning for us, and I think for the companies, for a lot of companies otherwise also. I mean, what you could do differently for your employees during the crisis times. That's also a very big thing to focus on.
That's right. And as you said, the the bonding between the internal team. Without a bonding, it's highly impossible to achieve the larger goal as a whole. So I think it's the most
Absolutely.
And of course, for startups, ROI based campaigns and continuous review is very, very important, and a lot of experimental and guerrilla marketing just to check what is working right for you at that particular point of time. So as you move forward, how do you see the future of marketing?
Very interesting question. I think the future of the marketing, the power continues to shift to the consumer. And when we probably would have started, I would have started my professional journey. It was a lot about what businesses were doing. Today it's a lot about what consumers are saying, what consumers are asking for, and how you're using digital media, how you're using social media, how you're using branding in that sense. So I think consumer is the king. We have been saying for many years, but fact is that consumer is becoming bigger and bigger king as we speak now. I think so. That's something which is important. Also using data analytics for marketing also probably is gaining much more momentum than ever before. So I would say that data-driven, consumer-focused, treating consumer as the king, treating them as the king, not necessarily saying only your speeches, but treating them as king also. This is what they require, and of course analyzing all their needs based on the data which you capture and gather. I think is and in our case, patients, of course, consumers overall, and how you continuously take feedback. I think there's another thing which is important. Though it traditionally doesn't come under marketing, but fact is what you call as market research before launching something. Today, continuous interaction with the patient, continuous patient engagement, also a very important part of the marketing, right? So I would say that those are three key tenets. I mean, keep consumer at the center of your universe. That's what we do, and we always try to practice. Second is that you use data and data analytics as much as possible, as granular as possible to basically service their needs and requirements. And third, of course, continuously working with them to take feedback, to take inputs. So you co-create the brand, you co-create the service along with the consumer. I think is the way to build products as usual.
Right. So data.
That's the future of marketing.
Yeah, right. So it's very precise. Thank you for giving us 3 bullet points that data is the key center of anything. Like, I mean, if you have the data right and if you can extract it on time, and then you can build a lot more strategy than without data, right? So
Yes,
extremely important, and the feedback, of course. So Vaibhav, we know that, I mean, you are a founding member of Portea and you have a lot of contribution towards its growth for sure. So I would like to, ask a question on that. What is what you think? What is your top contribution to this organization?
my top contribution to the organization has been to basically work with team to really support the patients. I think that's probably the top contribution for me and for a lot of us also in the founding team and otherwise, that what more we could do to support our consumers, what more we could do to support our patients. So how we build that whole culture of having consumer at the center of the universe, it's easier said than done. And that's something I think which we have continuously done. So if you ask me, the biggest contribution for me, and I think for all the founding team members and the key team members, is that we are able to create that culture of really putting consumer at the center of the universe. We are culture of being empathetic towards them, and culture of doing something extra every time when we are working with the patient consumer. Every time we measure ourselves and am I able to do something extra? Right? I think those are 3 things if you ask me, and we have been able to build that culture, follow that culture. Most of the times, I think that's the biggest contribution. So as you said rightly, is that we have become a well-known consumer brand from home care perspective, healthcare perspective, and that has happened because of that culture only. Because that's what our consumers, our patients have experienced that with us most of the times. And I think that I would say is the biggest contribution I see from my perspective.
And I'm going to take it as my takeaway as well, that am I able to contribute a little bit extra today? So I think that particular,
Yes.
if you keep reminding yourself, that itself is going to give you a lot of reflection towards what you're supposed to do today.
Yes.
So yeah. So with that, Vaibhav, I'm just moving towards a very interesting section, which is a rapid fire round, and you need to answer with one word here. Yeah. So,
Sure.
What is leadership to you?
I think leadership to me is to basically help people maximize their potential or to achieve their potential. I think those are things I would say is a leadership for me.
Yeah. What is a book you're planning to read?
I'm planning to read, a friend of mine gifted me a book of Sri Ravi Shankar. So I'm reading that nowadays, and I'm planning to complete that book in next few months. It has been a very good addition to my learning and my daily routine. So I think that's a book.
I'm glad that is working for you. so nice.
Yes, it does.
And who has been the greatest influence to you?
I think multiple people. I think starting from my parents, some of my bosses, Meena Ganesh, who's our co-founder and CEO. She has been a great influence on me. Some of my earlier bosses, P.S. Jaikumar, T.S. Anil, they were all my bosses in Citibank in my first job post MBA. Dinkar, who was my boss in my first company in Grandville Norton, they have been very, very big positive influence on me.
Awesome. And you have a greatest influence on many startup owners and business owners, including me, Vaibhav. Yes, I have been following.
I'm trying my best actually.
Yes. What's the best thing happened to you this year?
I think best thing this year what has happened is that I probably became I became more aware of my strengths and weaknesses. I probably am closer to myself as who I am. I think that's the biggest thing.
That's right. And I think the situation has thrown many of us to reflect back, go within, and discover yourself once again. So that was an opportunity. Great, addition on that. When are you most inspired?
I think I'm most inspired when I'm working with people. I think for me, I think that I see as the most inspiring moments for us.
So
when I'm working with teams, when I'm helping them to basically build their lives, build their careers, my mentoring, coaching kind of approach, which of course I try to follow as much as possible in my own organization also. I think that's where I'm most inspired.
Yes. So, and early in the morning or late in the night? What kind of person?
Early in the morning, any day. Any day, early in the mornings.
Superb. What's the best compliment you have ever received?
I think the best compliment, and I've received it few times, best compliment I have received is that when somebody says, I want to be like you, or I want to be you, when somebody asks, what do you want to become, they say, I want to be you. So that's the best compliment I have.
Wow, awesome. What does creativity mean to you?
I think creativity means, interesting question. Creativity means basically being yourself. I would say that everybody in their own skills, in their own right, are very unique and have a very strong creative side to it. And the more you can let that reflect out, I think the more creative you become. The more real you become yourself, the more creative you become. In my mind, that's the creativity. The more you can be yourself, the more creative you are.
So what is an important life lesson for someone to learn?
The most important life lesson is I have learned recently is that most of the things which you do, you're the medium through which the things happen. I think many times, I think the biggest downfall for people is all about what you do. When you start identifying yourself with the action, I think that's where the issue. Learning for me recently has been that you are the medium, and you're not necessarily the doer. And you learn that life lesson in your life, the better off you will be. That's my take. So do everything with your 100% involvement and 0%. I think that's my philosophy more and more. And that's, I think, life lesson everybody will be benefiting if they learn as early as possible in life.
Awesome. I mean, that's something, which will not attach you from being a doer, but you can just be a part of the process 100% and just move forward. So I just loved the concept. You're the medium, and things are happening through you. So that's a great way to keep yourself, away from the attachment. Awesome. Vaibhav, what is your message to the aspiring brand managers, marketers, startup owners, business owners in terms of marketing?
I think from startups, from business owner perspective, I think we should always look at solving a problem. I think their businesses get built by imagining a problem. Their businesses which get built by solving a problem. And I think the more you focus on solving a real problem, better off we are to build businesses. I think that has been my philosophy. There are businesses which also get created by solving unknown problems, but they're few and far between, and they're very generation defining the businesses. But most of the businesses get built and get grown successfully a big way by solving a known problem. You could solve a known problem by new methods. You can solve a new problem, known problem by new channels and so on and so forth. But I think it's a lot about solving a big enough problem. I think that is my message to startups and business owners. My message to marketeers is always to put customer first, to put outside in first. Something which happens, and many of us face it as we grow into our businesses or as we build businesses, that many of us end up having inside out perspective for most of the things. I think continuously we have to look at how we bring the outside in perspective. What is consumer saying? What is market saying?
Okay.
And how truthfully real time I can learn that part. I think that's what something which of course keeps you on your toes, also helps you to course correct all the time. Otherwise, that's the biggest problem which people fall into, the biggest issue which I think companies fall into, a marketeer fall into, they end up after some time they all end up they know the product better than what a consumer knows. But fact is, consumer always knows the best because he's the one who's paying for it, right? So having a strong outside in perspective on an ongoing basis all the time, having consumer feedback on an ongoing basis, I think are the very, very important things to build the brand around.
So yes, so this is also one of the takeaways, that having an outside in perspective, which is very different, and the moment we are focusing on that, you will get the result, because that is how you're going to speak to the consumer here. Yeah.
Because then you ask questions, otherwise you give answers, and I think lesser answers you give, more questions you ask, better off you ask.
Right. That's how the whole perspective of consumer journey and the marketing has changed, because now you need to listen more, ask right questions, and connect with the consumer. So the core and basics has come in the forefront right now.
Yes.
Awesome. Key takeaways for me. There are multiple things which I'm going to take from this particular conversation, Vaibhav, and there are so many insights which is going to help the viewers, startup owners, and marketers here. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your valuable key insights to us, Vaibhav.